like, oh, if this makes you reconsider whether Mamdani is the real deal, you're an idiot. Yeah, but I also do think it goes in the other direction, where there are absolutely people who will watch the podcast and be like, whoa, he's actually such a personable guy. I didn't know. And they will vote for him because, yes, no matter how dumb you think the median voter is, I promise you they are way dumber than you think they are. Okay?
You should have come through. We were at Maharaja Suites in Jackson Heights.
Hey, dude.
Giving up Thai.
I would love to.
All right. Next time I'll let you know.
I'm going to get your number.
Take it. Take
Beautiful. I'm going to get it after this
episode. I'll give it to you right now, bro. Because they'll probably yank me very quickly.
Yeah.
We got to start this immediately. Zara runs a tight ship.
Yeah, dude. She don't fuck around.
Yeah.
She does not.
Feel free. You can share with everybody here.
Okay, beautiful.
Also,
Socialism.
I'm so sorry.
Are we rolling?
I'm so angry by the way that you guys did the New York City Olympics. Because I hit that guy up. I was watching the Subway Tapes, and I'm forgetting the guy's name right now. My bad. But he goes, we should have like a New York City Olympics where the boroughs compete. And I didn't DM Kareem. I DM'd the guy. And I go, let's make this happen. Like, I am down. And he goes, how would we do that? And I go, we'll find a way. And then I see you a few weeks later, like, we're doing it. Everybody come out. Where were you, Far Rockaway or something?
No, in Coney Island.
It was Coney Island. Coney Island.
What is important about this is not the anger or resentment that you have towards Andrew Schulz and all these other people. What's important to recognize here is that Zoran's capacity to command the room is palpable. Okay? It is obvious that he can go into any room, whether it be a bunch of Wall Street CEOs or whether it be even cops, potentially, we shall see. And he can win people over even when they are diametrically opposite to his worldview. You should read the comments. Zoran isn't funded by AIPAC. Bill Ackman be spending more money than 2% that Zoran's going to propose to take from him. So true. I'm about to cry. Bro said he was born in 91. I'm old as hell. More policy questions to push back for a mayor than they had when they had Trump on. Schultz not believing Zoran can pull this off, but truly believing that Trump was capable of making America great again is something he needs to reflect on. Oh, my God. Oh my God. Zoran won over the Andrew Schultz audience and is cooking so hard.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're here with the next mayor of New York City. So 93% on Kalshi right now.
Bro, I've thrown away more bags than entire families will ever make in a lifetime because of my resentment towards this. Okay? I despise the political prediction market so much. Just know, if you ever see me doing an ad like this, just know if you ever see me doing an ad like this, it's over. Okay, I've decided I'm done. I'm doing a bag alert, and I'm out. You will never see me again. Once I got this money, the socialism shit is over. You know. And for the record, I'm confused because when Cory Booker brought up Sudan as a deflection in his convo with Jennifer Welsh, everyone rightfully called it for what it was, cowardly and repulsive deflection. Why is it different for you? Because people hate me. Because I've been a loud and annoying leftist for 10 years, chatter. 10 years, okay? That's it. For 10 years, I have pissed off everyone, even people who would otherwise be aligned with me. That's it. Most of it is because there are people in here who have felt wronged, okay? There are people in here who were in here who felt wronged by me and despise me for that reason. I'm Sudanese, small head, you ain't so bad, kid, thank you. That's it. And Booker was changing a very specific subject he was clearly trying to run from. Yes, but my assessment in that moment, or the reason why I always am like, I have talked about Sudan, but why are you bringing it up in this circumstance, is because it is the most common deflection point. That's it. The thing is, I'm stubborn as, okay? I'm a stubborn ass, and I don't do this so that people think I'm cool, okay? Nobody thinks leftism is cool. I wish they did. It would be awesome, okay? I wish they did, but they don't. And a part of the reason why they don't is because we're annoying. All of us on the left, we're annoying. We're constantly going, me, 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 me. We're constantly chirping, okay? We love chirping. We chirp all the time. We are unimaginably hostile to people who are ignorant. We are unimaginably uncharitable to everybody else, and even people who we perceive as having a slight deviation from our ideology. Okay? It's just the truth. Face thinks you're whack, or rather your audience is, because of this reason. They would not have blinked about this recent controversy. There are so many other communities out there who much rather find themselves in the throes of like all of the most like right-wing bigoted shit as opposed to this community, because this community is so unimaginably hostile to perceived slights, some of which is obviously deserved, but some of which is not. And this is an issue in my audience, and this is something that I've yelled about quite a bit. The irony is, of course, whenever I yell about it, people then fuck the very same people who constantly talk about that shit will use that as another opportunity to further relitigate how bad I am. We have a real issue. That's why, what's the first thing that I always say? Be normal. No, it's not all leftists are like that. I think it's just you, dog. You're just an asshole. No offense. No offense. But as someone who agrees with 80% of your politics, it's crazy how unlikable you are. I don't even know why. Okay. Who do you perceive as a more likable figure? Like this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. I like that the three people that you mentioned as a much more likable figure are the three people that I have direct communication with, like are the closest, with the exception of, I mean, I guess like Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar. They like me quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Maybe they see something you don't. I don't know. Also, those are politicians. They have to be, probably because they don't watch your stream. Oh, okay. Who do you think is at fault here? Guy who agrees with overwhelming majority of my opinions, but simply can't seem to place your finger on why you just have distaste for me and you can't let go of that optical resentment? Or guy who's trying to navigate way you talk, I think, or guy who's just trying to navigate through the treacherous nature of reactionary politics that are so pervasive online. It's because I give off a frat dude vibe. All right, man. Anyway, as I said time and time again, I'm hard-headed and I'm stubborn. And I think that is what is necessary to get the point across sometimes. And also, I think it would be insincere if I were to try to retriangulate my message to the aesthetic tastes of people who don't like that I come across like a frat bro. But a couple of people mentioned you in particular when they mentioned that they're tired of seeing frat bro leftists. Yeah, okay. You build it. If you build it, they will come. I have no control over who I am. This is just who I am. And I think it would be insincere if I were to behave in a different manner. I believe the things that I believe. I do also disagree with a lot of people who say, oh, you're a frat bro leftist and that's not digestible. I think that's also incorrect. I do suspect that your brand of leftist aesthetics is actually not digestible. This is just who I am. I happen to have this worldview. It doesn't matter. The optics don't matter all that much. You know? This video pretty much sums up the issue.
And
oh, yeah.
I know y'all don't want to hear this, but even the people who say they don't like cops and say ACAB are cops. Like, a lot of y'all are cops. There is this social phenomenon where people will find a public target, which is usually someone who makes minor. And I'm emphasizing minor because there are some egregious things that people can do. But minor missteps, minor mistakes, and they will like treat that person like a public punching bag until the end of days. And I peak game, right? Because people will like literally see someone who becomes an acceptable social target, and no matter what that person does, no matter how they apologize, no matter what they contribute to society, no matter how good they are of a person outside of the mistakes that they make, no matter if they have one take even that is like slightly off or that like people deem to be a little problematic, it becomes okay to like publicly harass and beat up on that person to the end of time. That to me is cop behavior. And look,
I've talked about this before. It's accountability culture in air quotes, and it stems from powerlessness. It stems from a recognition of your real powerlessness in the face of these unmoving structural hurdles, these unmoving oppressive systems that we exist under. We know that we can't change the government. We know that we can't actually like change the outcome of police brutality, no matter how hard we try. So we focus on more accessible targets, more appropriate targets. This is what a lot of the left does. Oh, well, you know, I can't get anything across to the Democrats. I can't get anything across to the Republican Party. I can't change the systems, even though there are so many awful things that are happening around the world. I see it and it hurts me and it hurts my feelings and I want to change it, but I can't. But where do I have change? Where can I see change? If I can get a TV show canceled, if I can get a written apology from, you know, a TV show that I watch, a late night television show host that I watch, that's the only marginal area where you can have some semblance of change. Okay. And you just really keep hammering that on because it makes you feel like you have agency. It makes you feel like you have some semblance of power. That's why a lot of people do it. It's that. It's the obsession with crime and punishment for social slights, perceived social slights. Okay. And it's also a tendency for behaving in a puritanical manner, like wanting to behave in a puritanical manner. A lot of people also have an evangelical streak, if we're being real, even if they themselves are not self-identifying Christians. And all of those things combined, I think, all of those things combined create this very interesting dynamic. Is it me, or is calling you a frat bro exactly what you were just addressing with leftists being unforgiving and judgmental? Yeah, it was. It's just like, oh, you present yourself a certain way and I don't like it and it annoys me. And then the closest comparison that someone can make in that regard is not someone who is under a microscope for fucking, 7 hours a day while discussing these issues, but someone who is a politician who has to carry themselves very differently and is certainly not under that same lens. Anyway, brother, can you quit saying the left like you were also not a part of the left? It feels pretty damn insulting to us that consider ourselves leftists. What do you mean? I also say I do it too. I'm a part of this as well. But the more we do this, the more inaccessible we seem to others who are in our reach. That's the other thing. We don't actually let bygones be bygones. We're not charitable to people who like fucked up. And to the outsiders who look at that situation and say, well, I've done things like that, but this broad left movement sees this person as a fucking demon, as an animal, sees that person as a villain. Am I a villain? And that's the moment where they go, I'm not even approaching this shit with charitability. That's the problem. We do this to ourselves. Can you give us an example? I mean, there are a million examples that take place on a daily fucking basis. There are so many people that are constantly cast aside. Like here, I'll give you an example so that we can have drama over it if you want. Okay? I'll give you an example so there's a serious drama that we can relitigate. Like people were screaming at Cutie Cinderella. And I looked through the people that were yelling at Cutie Cinderella. Not many of them were actually fans of mine because Cutie Cinderella responded to Aiden Ross and Asmongold doing a competing award show or something. And everyone got mad at her. And they were like, why are you highlighting these right-wing figures? It's true. Aiden Ross and Asmongold are right-wing figures. Okay? They are. But like, this is not any sort of serious, sincere advocacy. And I'm not even taking ownership over the people that were doing that because like I literally looked to see if these were like genuine fans of mine or something. Because guess what? They weren't. But also guess what? Every other community that saw people yelling at Cutie Cinderella, do you know what they think? They think it was my audience that did that. Because anyone who feels slighted by a hall monitor on the internet, okay? Anyone who feels slighted by a hall monitor on the internet immediately associates that with the broad leftist movement. And for many people who have horse blinders on, that don't see the world outside of this like little confine that we exist in this little echo chamber that we live in, I am the representative of all things left and all things woke. They don't see so many people that would yell at Cutie for something like that also yelling at me, saying I'm anti-black, saying this, saying that. They don't see that shit. Or when they do, they go, oh, here it is. These fucking woke libtards are eating each other alive once again. For the average person, they don't have the political education to sift through the different sects of the left, the different ideological tendencies of the left. They just broadly see everything as the Democratic Party, libtards, and they look to all of us in that same way. I'm not exactly certain how we move beyond this, because this is historically, this is as long as the left has existed, you know? But that's just unfortunately the reality. We are presented to everyone else as the more toxic. We are always presented as the more toxic version of Asmongold, just so you know. Not to like the normies, but at least on the broader like internet culture arena, I need you to understand something very important. People think we are more annoying and more toxic than rapacious, monstrous right-wingers, because there is a sense of comfort that the average person has with a rapacious, monstrous right-winger, even if they are literally victim to their relentless attacks. Black and brown people. You can extend this to even the Donald Trump vote, because most people don't have the political education. They just simply look at the vibes. And the vibes are liberals are annoying. Liberals are the annoying HR people at your job, or liberals are the annoying hall monitors at your school, and that they're constantly fucking yelling about shit that doesn't matter. They're constantly checking people. They're constantly saying, like, you're doing this, you should be doing something different. Fuck you. This is irredeemable. The vibes have been fucked for decades. Very difficult to overcome this problem. Okay? But the right, not having any sort of moral standard at all, gives people a sense of comfort. It gives the average onlookers a sense of comfort. Okay? It makes the average person go, I don't fully agree with whatever the fuck these guys are saying. But ultimately, it kind of feels like these assholes would never come after me and yell at me unless I become woke. That's how a lot of people find themselves in the comforts at like the apolitical middle. Okay? That's, if you're wondering how like this Joe Rogan of the left conversation works, right? That's how it works. If you're wondering how there are 1,000 Joe Rogans, but there's only one Hasan Piker, that's the reason. Because no one is fucking schizophrenic and autistic enough to constantly fucking sit there and eat it every day and not become a monstrous person who says, fuck all of this, I'm going right wing. Nobody wants to do it. Why the fuck would anybody want to constantly be harassed by the right and then simultaneously get harassed by the left too for marginal differences in opinion or perceived slights? No one wants to do it. Why the fuck would anyone want to do it? Even that you can make. I really hope you get schizophrenia. I will be the first medical internet-induced schizophrenia patient. Don't worry. Twitch CTE, baby. That's it. There's a reason why there is a reason why so many people look to broadly what the left represents and only sees being fucking annoying. Like only sees the vibes as annoying, smarmy hall monitors is one of the worst aspects of the left broadly. And it's something that I try to, for the past decade, change. And it still doesn't fucking work. Even in this community, there's hella people that go crazy. Your niche is on the left. The right wouldn't welcome you or take you even seriously at this point. You're so fucking stupid. The right takes in rapists, brother. You're so dumb for that statement. Are you fucking kidding me? The nuts that they would fire off if one day I were to be like, yeah, fuck this socialism bullshit. You know, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm actually a liberal. I'm actually a reasonable liberal who agrees with the right on every single issue all the time suspiciously. Are you fucking kidding me? I know the talking points better than the right does. You know how fucking easy that swing would be? I'll be getting welcome to the fucking White House. They've named the ballroom after me. They don't have one fucking charismatic figure on the right. What are you talking about? If I can actually operate in this unimaginably hostile fucking water I don't know. They do be Islamophobes. Yeah. You know what they love, though? A guy who shits on Islam with the former backing of being Muslim. If I had no morals, whatsoever, if I had no fucking moral compass, if I was a grifter, I would just grift to the right. Think about all of the top deities on the right, top fucking figureheads on the right. They got nothing. They got no motion. They're not charismatic. They don't have no riz. They don't ever have to fucking navigate the treacherous spaces of being a fucking leftist. There's no purity testing on the right. They just go, oh, you like Trump? Great. I remember Your Rage was open to doing a collab stream a few years ago, but he said he changed his mind after he saw how much shit you got for even thinking about playing the Harry Potter game. If they treat their own man like that, how are they going to treat me if I fuck up? Was his reasoning for dropping the collab idea? Yeah. Yeah. And I know for a fact so many people are not going to understand the broader lesson here that I'm trying to fucking instill upon my audience and think, oh, he's just fucking sad that he can't fuck around with his millionaire buddies. Oh, woe is me. Big old millionaire. Can't even hang out with his millionaire buddies and he's offended and he's sad. No, dude. It's the overall vibes that we put out. Most people, we don't market ourselves at all. We just don't. We don't fucking market ourselves. And we just expect people to get on board because we're right without even presenting an argument as to why we're right. Add on to that the misinformation spiral that people go through, and there you have it. That's why I always laugh. That's why I always laugh at people who are like, I see TikToks of the very same people that are constantly being like, this person is fucked up and wrong. This person on the left is a bad person, who then will literally turn around and in the same breath be like, why are there no visible figures on the left? I wonder why. Because you killed them. Like, what do you mean? And the only people who can actually overcome that, because if you are trying to become a propagandist for the left, you literally have to just never listen to that noise. Okay? You have to make sure that you abide by your principles and you're honest with yourself and you're honest with your audience, and don't get okay? Don't do it. There are a lot of people in here who for many, many years have told me, oh, we shouldn't allow this person in the community, or we should be less open-minded about like perceived slights, even if they're on a journey of learning. Like shutting off people entirely from the journey of self-development, right? We do this all the time. And those people, because I don't listen to them, can now benefit from a much larger community of support. Because if I were to do that when I had 35 viewers, I would have stayed with 35 viewers. If I were to do that when I had 350 viewers, I would have stayed at 350. If I were to do that at 3,000 viewers when the demands were being made, I would have stayed at 3,000 viewers. And I didn't do it. There is no value in perceived exclusivity. There is no value in gatekeeping, especially if your goal is to instill broad awareness, to unlock class consciousness. You know?
Y'all gonna jump me for this, but like, we always dismissing the intolerant left thing, but I do think there's something to explore around how there is like such a thing as being punitive and unforgiving, and it happens a lot in online.
Like, look at this fucking asshole. Like, oh man, you really did me so solid. Thank you. Just to prove a cynical point, you're willing to call yourself a Nazi publicly. Like, what are you doing? Okay, fuck you then. How about that?
Faces. And look, somebody 2 decades from now should not be paying for like using a slightly phobic word, or even if they do apologize and acknowledge it, or saying something out of pocket once and acknowledging it and not saying it again. I do think like y'all are cops. No shade. No Sade, no I do. Oh wait, and one more thing. A lot of the times these targets are women, queer people, black people, brown people, mostly black people, and then some disabled people. If it's a person on the margins, it makes it easier for y'all to do it because it justifies you hating people who are marginalized because you won't do it. And a lot of y'all who claim to be like radical social justice oriented people are just as bad, if not worse. A lot of y'all.
Agree, but I've also met a lot of libs who police other leftists. Wait, what? Yeah, no, this is... Everybody does that. Jake Tapper mentioned? Oh, buddy. Oh, brother. It is not going to be good if Jake Tapper is coming after me. But, yeah, no, liberals do that as well. Liberals also certainly do that. That's annoying. Liberals broadly do it to their left flank, but they also do that to their right as well. They do it all the time. As a matter of fact, they probably do it even more frequently than the left does. The examples he's saying is very different to some of the people in this community. Side eyes, though. He's not apples to apples. All right, someone clip me the Jake Tapper mention. Like, Jake Tapper's a great example. He's literally doing something that we just talked about in terms of like cancel culture, right? Like, Jake Tapper doesn't like me for obvious reasons. And I suspect that he's not going to fucking defend me. According to NBC, the Cuomo campaign linked the New York Post article about you to every journalist asking about his Islamophobic comments. Andrew Cuomo says that that's another problem when radio host says Zohran Mamdani would cheer a terrorist attack. Wait, what? What the fuck is up with this guy? Rich, as a party spokesperson for Cuomo, told NBC News that Cuomo did not agree with Rosenberg's comments and that his response was in reference to a comments by a progressive streamer, Hasan Piker. Cuomo has repeatedly criticized Mamdani for appearing with Piker, who once said America deserved 9/11 before he called the comments inappropriate. Piker was not specifically invoked during that part of the interview, and Mamdani said last week's mayoral debate that Piker's comments were objectionable, reprehensible. He was referring to Mamdani's close friend Hasan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11, a statement 9/11 families called on Zoran Mamdani to denounce, but he refused for months, as the party said in an email statement, which included a link to the New York Post story. That's not new. Governor held a press conference. Oh, dude, it's first of all. No, then it's like totally fine. No, he was on my this. It's the exact same quote the campaign gave to every other outlet. So they linked the New York Post article to everyone. Oh, dude, it's fine. It's fine, dude. Oh, you can get away with saying anything you want about Zoran, dude. He appeared on my show one time. That's fucking nuts. I think everybody fucking knows exactly what's up. Oh, this is really funny. Yeah. By the way, they think they can get out of this by being like, but Hasan, brother, this is not LSF. Okay? You're running for mayor of New York. The people surrounding you that are listening to you are not a bunch of apolitical slop tubers. Why the fuck is your election campaign comprised entirely of Redditors that you think, what about Hasan, is going to be a successful counter? I'm not even from New York. It's so funny. Sid Rosenberg starting to lose his mind, realizing that he accidentally put the final nail in Andrew Cuomo's coffin. Hey, Brad Lander, Jimmy Van Brainer, and the rest of you losers blaming Andrew Cuomo for my comments about how about coming at me? Andrew didn't say Zoran Mamdani would be cheering if, God forbid, we experience another 9/11. I said it, not Andrew. Cowards. And then Sean King says he agreed with it. He goes, of course he did, because it's the truth. You see that picture last week? I know who you are. Don't come here with your bullshit. No, I'm not going to fucking follow back Sid Rosenberg, okay? Get the hell out of here. I don't understand. This has to be a byproduct of how unimaginably online the campaigners are, right? It has to be. Because, I mean, I know his brother asked me constantly to be on a show. And I've said no every single time. So I know that the Cuomos are somewhat aware of who I am. I didn't know Andrew was aware of who I am. But like, what's hilarious about this is most New Yorkers do not know who I am. They don't know who I am. Okay? I don't know how to explain. I have no motion whatsoever. But most New Yorkers don't know who the fuck I am. Okay? And the ones that do, by and large, a much larger number of New Yorkers who know who I am like me. and they're door knocking for Zoran. I don't think they're going to turn around and be like, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute, dude. I found out about this Zohran Mamdani guy on the HasanAbi broadcast and then joined the fucking team to go door knock for him. And it became a part of the 50,000 army of door knockers. But turns out this Hasan Piker guy, that I've been watching for years said America deserved 9/11. Fuck. 6 years ago? Fuck. He said, what? Yeah. And also, this other part is what is so apparent as well. Because, like, sure, are there Islamophobic New Yorkers? Absolutely. But by and large, Americans don't have the same level of, like, resentment. Like, they have a different kind of Islamophobia in America, right? It's not the same as, like, European Islamophobia. Because, like, imagine because the way it is in Europe, it's like the Islamophobia in Europe is basically like packaged with the Islamophobia that you have in America and the like anti-immigrant sentiment you have in America in an environment that is infinitely more hostile to immigrants than regular ass Americans in general. That's why it's like totally different. It works totally differently there as opposed to it works totally differently in America as opposed to like as it does in Europe, where people would say like, oh, Islam is like destroying the West in Europe. And most people like tune into that. They subscribe to that racist notion, but they don't necessarily do that here in America because Muslims are not as prominent a voting bloc. They just kind of stick to themselves. And also on top of that, like there's a reason why the Dearborn, the anti-Dearborn initiatives don't work that well, right? Where they're like, oh, there's the calls to prayer. You can hear it in Dearborn. It's scary. And then people go, oh, whatever. Who gives a shit? Right? I don't think hitting the Islamophobia lines like this is going to come across as broadly positive to people. I think it just like grosses people out more than anything else. Yeah. You think they're mad that your TikToks, YouTube shorts about Zoran are going viral and it's free advertising? They have to pay millions for a fraction of that? No, I don't think. I think that when you look at like how popping Zoran is on TikTok, it's not. I have nothing to do with it. He's just popping on TikTok because he's young, he's vibrant, he's got a great team around him, and also he's got great policies. If it grosses people out so much, why does Trump go back to that playbook so often? Dog, are you kidding me? Even Donald Trump is nowhere near as Islamophobic as Andrew Cuomo has been this past week. Are you out of your mind? Donald Trump will suck the semen out of an Arab sheik's penis 1 week. The fuck? Donald Trump knows where his bread is buttered. Are you kidding me? He fucking loves the Gulf leaders and shit. He wouldn't dare talk shit about Islam as broadly as fucking as Cuomo is. No, that's Laura Loomer, who, if you noticed, is no longer as close to the Trump administration as she's been going fucking nutty mode on the timeline about Islamophobia. Okay? Yeah, but saying a sheik is Muslim like saying Trump is Christian? Yeah, but they do hear the Islamophobic statements. Sequoia Partners unironically lost their chief operating officer recently due to the fact that dipshit that runs Sequoia was running his fucking mouth about how Muslims are infiltrating the country. They lost a high-level C-suite executive, okay? And not only that, but now a bunch of those Gulf leaders that dump fuckloads of money into Sequoia Partners are talking about how they're going to pull out because they're like, why would we give you our money if you're talking like this about Muslims and Islam in general? Yeah, that Sequoia guy always tweets about me too. He's a fucking freak. I think you guys forget, like, these dudes are moneyed up. Yeah, here it is. Buried at the end of the article. This is from Financial Times. Sumaila Balbale, a practicing Muslim, left the venture firm after it decided not to discipline the outspoken investor for a post about Zohran Mamdani. Sequoia COO quit over Sean McGuire's comments about Islamism. The scandal has also soured Sequoia's relationship with some top Middle Eastern investors. One financier based in the region who has worked with Sequoia described McGuire's comments as a humiliation. A lot of sovereign wealth funds from this part of the world are not going to work with this guy. If you notice, Donald Trump never talks about how Zoran is an Islamist. He says Zoran is a communist. Are you not wondering why Donald Trump, who does not hold back on racialized animus on any capacity, rarely ever talks about Zoran's beliefs? You don't fuck with the money. Andrew Cuomo is unironically more Islamophobic than Donald Trump is in his commentary, of course. I'm not talking about behind closed doors or whatever. Donald Trump knows where his bread is buttered. He knows, okay? And yeah, sure, maybe the Gulf leaders are not like, truly practicing Islam or whatever. Who gives a shit? You're still shitting on them, okay? Like nobody, when someone calls a black person an N-word, nobody goes, oh, well, hold up. Maybe it was because it was deserving. No, everybody understands exactly what that means. And Islamophobia works in the same fucking way. When someone's like, oh, all Muslims are barbaric, or this Muslim is barbaric and a terrorist, all the other Muslims hear that and they go, okay, well, fuck you then. Like, people forget that, motherfuckers have access to the internet over there, okay? They're super wealthy and they see it. A lot of sovereign wealth funds from this part of the world are not going to work with this guy. That's for sure. He is not welcome here, he said. You work for your limited partners and founders. You are entrusted with serious capital by investors, the person added. This is not good for the brand. Anyway, we got through the first 30 seconds of this until I went on like 11 different tangents, but that's what these fucking assholes don't realize. Crash Dummy's coming at 4:30.
Yes. Chances of victory, 93%.
Yep.
So, barring this doesn't go horribly, I think you're good.
This is how we bring the numbers down.
We got to get some parity here. We got to get Cuomo a
I want
chance.
people to understand this election's not over, so I'm going to tank. Not at 85 by the end of this interview.
We're going to work on it.
Not as
Dude, you've done, I want to give you, a few compliments here. But they're also very validating, because I think, every week I'm talking to Charlamagne and we're talking with the boys here on the pods, and it's like, we keep on saying, hey, Democrats, can you please just run for something and not against somebody?
Yep.
And it is a very simple solution, but I think people at their core want to feel like their issues are addressed, and their concerns are met. Not simply that guy bad.
Yeah.
And then you guys have done it masterfully. Obviously, you're a great talent and your team is phenomenal. Zara, I know you're listening. You're great. You're great. You're great. Give us a little more time. You're great. You're great. But it was really validating to see that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, if you talk about the issues people care about and say that you're going to do something about it, they will support you. What a fucking crazy idea.
I know
it's
she
also
did
crazy.
not like
The
that.
things that I would say you inspire, change and hope. The last great Democrat, those were kind of his mantras, or however you'd say it. Change and hope, and that's what you inspire.
that Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's been lost a little bit.
I appreciate you guys. I think it's just, there's been a lot of lecturing and not much listening. And, we saw a swing towards Trump here in New York City in the last general election.
Whose responsibility was that? Who the hell made that? What the fuck are we even talking about?
Dude, those guys.
I can't believe they bunch of frat boys, dude.
But it was there are a lot of caricatures of who Trump voters are. And in New York City, we saw the swing was actually in the heart of immigrant New York. And I went to Hillside Avenue in Queens. I went to Fordham Road in the Bronx. And I asked New Yorkers, who did you vote for and why? And I met the vast majority of them were Trump voters. And I asked them why. And it just came back to cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And if I had spent that time lecturing them as to why they were wrong, as opposed to...
People cannot appreciate how awesome the Obama years were? Brother, don't even get me started. It wasn't. It's awesome in comparison to now. But that doesn't mean it was actually awesome, especially because the Obama years is what brought what we are experiencing now. Now, part of that was because he was black, okay? And a big part of it was a lot of white people were like, yeah, let this happen twice, okay? They could not comprehend it. They could not contend with it. They were like, this is incredible. I cannot believe this guy literally is a Kenyan Muslim socialist communist, devil's spawn, black guy who was the president twice. What the fuck's going on? I will vote for the maximum racism candidate. Okay. That was definitely a part of the motivation, a big part of the motivation. But also on the other side, it was the end of whatever progressive momentum could have ever existed within the heart of the Democratic Party. It was the end of it. It was the end of times in that regard. Okay. A candidate that ran on change and progress, that turned around and literally slapped on the most Clintonite policies, the most Clinton-adjacent third-way neoliberalism, a monstrous team of what does he call it? The League of what did he call it? He called it the League of Competing Interests or something. I forget now. In Hillary as well. No, not the League of Nations, dude. No, the team of rivals. That's what it was. The team of rivals. Thank you. Like, A lot of people forget the rug pull that Obama pulled because he was so charismatic he could overcome it, okay? But he really did do that. He really did kill hope in some ways, okay? But of course, racism was a primary motivator as well, on top of everything else. But in any case, it was definitely a rug pull situation. Having said that, he was very charismatic and still is very charismatic. That's why I get so mad, because it's like, you could be using that for anything, dude.
Listening to them as to how we could get right.
Yes.
Then we would run a very different campaign.
And this is one thing I said I wanted to talk about. I feel like the establishment Democrats don't understand a pretty simple thing. We want to vote for someone who might make things better. Even if the risk is it will make things worse. A lot of people voted for Trump because he might make things better. And the other person is saying, I wouldn't change anything. Things are not good. In New York, things are not good right now. The
most
other
expensive
guy,
city
to
in
me, is
America.
just saying it's the same, and you're saying it could get better.
It's a privilege to maintain the status quo. You know what I mean? Like, if it, like, we're privileged, like, it's very nice to know that we're going to be like,
we can't afford more of the same.
So here's the thing. Like, it's so funny because I saw it was like Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk, and they were talking about you. I don't know if you remember this.
I didn't see this.
But they were speaking, and it was almost like this shoehorn theory. Have you ever seen that, like, politically?
The
what
horseshoe.
happened?
Horseshoe.
Oh,
Horseshoe
sorry.
theory.
Horseshoe, yeah. So it's like...
But
and
you are shoehorning it. It is the horseshoe theory, which is, stupid, but you are shoehorning it into this conversation. God, I hate horseshoe theory. I hate stuff like that because it's so like, it's just like such a classic, I want to fucking swing above my weight class ass thing that people use. It's like unimaginably reductive. It doesn't actually it represent anything real. Okay. And it's like a clear-cut example of just like someone trying to sound smart. Doors open. It's the maximum centrist mindset. What's the horseshoe theory? Yeah, you go far enough left, you become a right-winger. Like, there's extremes on both sides. It's just like a very silly centrist position. Okay? That's it. And people try to like interpret it. People try to interpret it in that way where they'll be like, well, go far enough left, you hate Israel. Go far enough right, you hate Israel. It's like, okay, yeah, that's right. That's what the fucking Nazis want. They want healthcare for everybody. And they want to uplift the working class no matter where they are, around the planet, famously. The only person who abides by the horseshoe theory is Grant Plattner. That's it. There's no one else. I've never met another person who on the one hand is like, I'm a communist, I'm an Antifa super soldier, and on the other hand is running around with a fucking Todokov on his chest, okay? And is a Blackwater mercenary. I've never seen that. And I don't even know if I'll ever see it again, okay? There is no other person that represents that. He is the true progressive mind in a MAGA body, a one of a kind.
I think that they were basically saying that you were meeting the moment in terms of what people are concerned with, right? And it's obviously cost of living, and it's like, I think it's so specific. I think it's like, it's rent, and I think everything is derivative of rent.
Yeah.
And
it's the number one issue in the city.
The number, yes, bro. I started looking up numbers because, like, I think a 2-bedroom 6 years ago was the average 2-bedroom compared to right now. I think has gone up 90%.
I mean, it's untenable. Right? Like, and I think this is the thing that...
Wow.
90%, almost doubled in 6 years.
That's great.
How are people supposed to keep up with this? And I think what's so, kind of to what you guys were saying, if the politics on offer is right now is as good as it's ever going to get, that's not good enough for the vast majority of people.
And I think it speaks to how out of touch a lot of them are.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I spoke to a nurse who, after she finishes her shift, she drives for an hour and a half, leaving the state of New York to get to where she can afford a place.
Wow.
That's what you're putting working people through. People are living in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey City, commuting it.
Dude, white people have to live in the outer boroughs.
This is what happens when you call him a socialist. You got.
See, if Zoran had the lack of charitability I have, if I went on this podcast right now, every motherfucker would be like, why are you normalizing these Trump supporters? Right? That's the difference between charity, between two very similar people in ideology.
It's just like, I'm going after Astoria. I'm going after
The Greeks are not white. No, but continue, please. Yeah, it is absurd that in order to afford her life, and there are obviously certain like circumstances that have created this situation. What I want to talk about more is because I looked at your plan to go fix it, and I would really like this to be able to happen. A lot of people are making this like impending war about you and Trump. I think it's going to be you and Albany, bro. Can you speak a little bit more on that? Like what you need Albany to essentially allow you to do?
Yeah.
There are restrictions in government. Like there are systems in place that don't allow you to do what you want, even if you think it's in the best interest of people, and even if that's what the people want. So how are you going to convince Hochul? How are you going to convince these
She just got groomed.
people to allow you to enact these policies?
So New York City continues to be a creature of the state. New York City, if you have an ambition for the city that matches the scale of the crisis, you have to have an Albany agenda.
Yep.
So when de Blasio wanted to deliver universal pre-K, he knew he would have to go to Albany to get that money. He actually overcame the objections of then Governor Andrew Cuomo to get that money to make this a reality. Now it is one of the best examples of government actually meeting the needs of working people. And so when we talk about raising revenue, raising taxes on the top 1% by 2%, the top corporate tax to match that of New Jersey, that's something we will do in Albany. And that's partially why the endorsements of Governor
Hochul.
Governor
You almost
Cuomo.
said it.
Yeah,
You almost said it.
I'll never be taking that one.
You almost said it.
Governor
He's
Hochul.
posting that on Instagram.
Yeah, you see the trauma is coming back. having to deal with
Bro,
that
look at
man so
this
much.
fucking thing.
Governor Hochul, Assembly Speaker Carl Haystreet, Majority Leader of the state, Senate Andrea Stewart-Cousins. These are endorsements not just of me, but of the agenda. Because in Albany, it's often spoken about as 3 men in a room. Now it's 2 women and a man who are in the endorsements of all of them.
Huge.
It's huge, and it paves the way
I also think it
for
speaks
this
to
agenda.
like your political momentum, right?
Thank you.
No. And I mean that. I don't even mean it as a compliment. I mean
damn,
like. No,
I take that back.
It's like a guy once told me, America doesn't have allies; it has interests, and I think that politicians are often that way. Now, I can't speak about you, but like. Hochul needs re-election, and it's next year, right? I imagine she is thinking, okay, if I raise taxes like you...
Dude, when I see Andrew Schulz demonstrate his capabilities as an actual active adult / political commentator, when I see him do this, it makes me more mad when I compare that to what he was doing with Donald Trump. Okay, because this is not a stupid man. I'm sorry. Like it's really hard for when you match up what he just said right there, which is correct. Kathy Hochul has political ambitions. She wants to stay in office, and she knows how popular Zoran is, so she's going to play ball with Zoran's policies. That same guy didn't even ask Donald Trump about Jeffrey Epstein, man. That's crazy. Like that's crazy.
You would want, I might lose some of my constituents. But she's also probably thinking, if this guy is such a tsunami and if I rebuke him, I could also lose people. So is your strategy to have so much support in a Trump-esque version? Like he's the only other example.
The left won't make this a Bernie on Joe Rogan again. The libs will try to gaslight us, though. All the grifters like Schulz get to do whatever the hell they want until the slop runs dry. I mean,
Conceded has like found a way to completely transform his party. Is your strategy get so much support that?
Goddamn, the bar is low. That we're praising this dude for understanding politicians that want to win elections. No, I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I'm saying it's hard to consider what he was saying about Donald Trump and how he got duped by Donald Trump to be sincere when he does demonstrate the basic bare minimum competence when talking about like the ambitions of the former lieutenant governor turned governor and why she is willing to play ball with Zoran's agenda because it's an objectively popular one and what it says about Zoran. Like that is demonstrating political acumen. Okay, that means that first you abuse your dog, now you're grooming her. Does your depravity ever end? No. Unimaginable depravity. Look at this. Look at this big old bitch, dude. She fucking Margot shouts out for that big ass bone. She loves it. She's going to town on it. She is so big. Apologize to her? Never. Only big old bitch is you. It's crazy because she just got groomed and now she is putting a disgusting bone all over her arms, and her arms are going to be completely coated with meat and slobber, but it's worth it. Let a bitch be big, goddamn. Yeah. Does she usually enjoy bones? Yeah, she loves bones. I give her bones all the time. I'm never giving her whatever this kind of bone is. I usually give her like a Icelandic ram horn to add insult to the injury of Hasan Hasan mistreats her dog. I give her, as you guys have probably seen on the broadcast before, yes, Icelandic lamb horn or whatever the fuck it's called. Anyway, let's keep going.
Hochul's political future is dependent on her connectivity to you.
My strategy is to build the political will such that Governor Hochul has a...
Yeah, by the way, yes, I know I keep pausing, but 26,000 views in one day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Impulse podcast 2 days ago, 69,000 views, bro. This guy killed my grandma with his policies. One of the most embarrassing things I've seen in a minute. How can Cuomo attack Mamdani for being the New York governor? I don't think being the son of a governor is a niche movie director, and a niche movie director really compares. God damn, Andrew Cuomo is such a fucking motionless charisma suck.
Partner in delivering universal child care.
Good man. He's a politician.
Because Governor Hochul has spoken.
Bend the knee.
Governor
Hochul
has said she wants to deliver universal child care. What she's had in the mayor we have right now is someone more focused on getting out of jail,
right,
than actually funding these kinds of programs.
Or partying. We're going to bring 11 to New York. That is a fire idea. You shouldn't even know what that is.
I didn't know what it was until you posted the clip, and I was like,
and now you're like, let him run again.
That's all we need to know. You can still bring it, though.
That's still on the table, bro.
Don't ban that guy. He said terrorists fuck. He's saying like they have sex. Like people that are declared terrorists by the State Department unjustly have sex all the time. That's what he was saying. Look at what he said next. What did he say next? He also called you the N-word. Oh, okay. Maybe he's not redeemable. Nuclear?
Okay. You were saying.
So I think it's what are you using your political capital for? Because the same people who will say, oh, we can't afford free buses. We can't afford $700 million a year in making the slowest buses in America fast and free.
I don't agree with that. I think you can. Like that. No. Like, but here's the thing. Like,
can I put that on the website?
You can put it whatever you want. Yeah. Like, I also think this idea that like New Yorkers are going to flee because of a 2% increase. It's like I've been everywhere else. You're not going anywhere. Bill Ackman's not going nowhere. He's going to be in the Hamptons all fucking
There's
summer.
only one place to write those tweets.
That's it.
New York City. Exactly. Every character you want.
AC goes out in July in Miami. You sweating writing tweets? There's no way.
He's spending more money against me than I would even tax him.
That was the best line in the entire thing. That right there, bars. Best line. He's got those piffy one-liners down, dude.
Every day it's like $1 million. It's like $1 million. I'm like, Habibi, I don't even want. You're going above and beyond.
Okay, but so I don't think anybody's moving, and I honestly feel that way. And like I'm in the tax bracket. We're going to tax more. Like, dude, if you're going to deliver all this shit for 2%, give it. I'm 100% supportive. It makes life easier for New Yorkers. This is my one identity in my entire life is a New Yorker. It's the thing I care the most about. But what I will say is that I think that there are going to be people in government that are going to try to restrict you from.
Why is he on with that racist? Because he's not a dumb internet leftist and someone who's serious about winning the New York mayoral race. Asked and answered. Let's move on.
And I know that you're aware of that. So I'm like, how? And there are people that might disagree on economic policy. We can have like a philosophical discussion about like what economic policy works. But I don't even know I think that's like a waste of time. What the fuck do you do when special interest groups are going to be lobbying like crazy? They're going to say, I want to build 200,000 units. And then the second you try, they're going to be like, well, not in my neighborhood, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, you have
How
to.
do you do that?
You have to be ready to take on these fights. You cannot be naive
taking
to
on
the
it right
fact.
now.
And
Special interest groups are.
But I mean, I appreciate the point because there is a reason why we haven't had progress. Right? If you look, for example, at the Department of Education, this is the agency we spend the most amount of money in the city.
Yep.
Of the $40 billion we spend about $10 billion on contracts and consultants.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of people who are looking forward to the...
If this makes you reconsider Mamdani, you're an idiot. Yes, many Americans are. Next question.
renewal of their contract.
No, it's to educate you nerds at Bronx Science.
Oh, I thought you meant like, oh, if this makes you reconsider whether Mamdani's the real deal, you're an idiot. Yeah, but I also do think it goes in the other direction where there are absolutely people who will watch the podcast and be like, wow, he's actually such a personable guy. I didn't know. And they will vote for him because yes, no matter how dumb you think a median voter is, I promise you they are way dumber than you think they are. Okay?
All of us dumb kids, we don't need all that money.
Where'd you go to high school?
Baruch College campus.
What was your mascot?
The Blue Devils.
All right.
Yeah. Which
It's
we
actually
just chose.
a white devil. Isn't that funny? Who knew? Habibi, let's talk about it.
Segue.
Segue. Get us back to Hochul.
But here's my point. There are people making money off the status quo. And so there will be a lot of interest in retaining that status quo.
Yeah.
Right now, the city of New York will pay McKinsey a few $1 million to design a trash can. McKinsey's not going to be happy when I say we don't need you to design that anymore.
Right,
we can
right.
actually design that ourselves. The Second Avenue subway, which is the most recent extension of New York City subway
Shut that
lines.
shit down, bro.
Okay, that's not where I'm going.
Shut that
I don't know where
Ain't
you're
nobody
taking
need a
this.
subway on Second Avenue.
It's actually a
bro.
beautiful statement.
Why are you and Curtis Lee was so against the Second Avenue subway?
Because we're from Manhattan.
You don't want to get to 125th Street? on
Never
Second
go to Upper East Side.
I went to middle school there. I went to elementary school
You don't
there.
go there now.
I know, but so I don't need the last place you need a subway is on the Upper East Side. They're gonna be okay. They're not leaving. Bring a subway down to Tribeca or something.
It's wherever you are. Wherever you
Full cut. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. That's so fucking annoying. Ay. Hold on. Let me not move my arms around if I'm like fucking pissed off. Welcome back, King. What happened to the IRL backpack? You did a full cut? No, I had to transition into the IRL backpack. Kaya run. That's so lame. I fucking hate that. I can't believe there is literally no... Do you not use IRL Toolkit anymore? No, I haven't been using it that much because it's kind of ass. It's been cutting in and out every now and then. What I used to use for a redundancy has become a point of failure. Might as well start the gaming now. Dude, I have guests coming. Okay, calm the fuck down. How is the internet so bad in Hollywood? It's just really awful. It's just really fucking awful. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can say about it. Another reason to fucking move to goddamn New York, bro. I hate this shit. I hate this goddamn city. I hate this goddamn stupid ass fucking state. I hate this stupid fucking infrastructure. It's so ass. Guest on stream or guest personal life? No, crash dummies. I have guests coming over. Yes, I have a fucking business line. It doesn't matter. It's still ass cheeks. Anyway, all right, let's continue.
I think we got to go from 96th Street to 120th.
Did you just hear what he said?
No, it is long.
That's way long.
That's a good point. It is
Nah, that's
long.
right. That's 8 blocks mathematically.
What I'm saying is, why are you trying to build more white people subways, man?
Look at this. So you were fine with the Second Avenue subway,
only white
72nd,
people over there.
86, 96, but you don't want to go to 125th?
I never wanted it at any of those stops.
Here's my point.
I've always been against the Second Avenue subway. They want to live over there and make them walk. I dated a girl over there. That shit was horrible. I had to walk and they gotta walk. I was walking to York Avenue in shorts.
I feel like I'm talking to Eric Adams.
December. Bring an 11. Put an 11 on the Second Avenue subway. Use the poles for something.
Here's his point.
Here's my point, though, is that people in Harlem were promised a subway to 125th Street on the Second Avenue decades ago.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
it's taken us so long
Crazy.
to even get to this.
Why didn't we start with them?
We had to connect it.
What is it? Well, you could connect it the other way, too. We could have started it up there.
But where are they going to take you from 125th to 116?
Yeah, you start
That's as long as a 2-avenue walk.
116.
Yeah, I'm actually here to announce that the head of design at the MTA is about to be
Thank you. I would have done that too. Now you're making some good decisions.
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking back my 2% if I'm. No. I hear what you're saying. You got to connect it to 51st Street.
But and I think the larger point here is though that like when they did the first phase of construction for the Second Avenue subway,
Yeah.
the MTA spent more money on consultants than construction.
Yeah.
So this is part of the issue is that you're right that we're going to have to transform the inner workings of government.
Yeah.
And that means ending a lot of people who have jobs more to do with who they know than what they do.
Yeah, no,
And that's not specific to Eric Adams.
And
It sounds like you want to create a Department of Government Efficiency. Kind of sounds like. Kind of sounds like. Because when I said I was in favor of it, this liberal cuck, when it was a Republican idea, hated it. And now I'm in favor. Now look at him nodding.
Donnie, we are not going to judge people who like to watch others have sex with their wives. That is their...
I'm bringing it back to efficiency.
Okay, sorry.
Bring it back to waste.
Some people would say that's efficient and waste.
You can wait for Andrew Cuomo to have these.
You know he's going to love them. Okay, go.
But here's my point: is that it is sad
See,
that
Xavier Randy,
we let someone.
no, there's fucking 25 to 30K people in here. It's just once the stream cuts out completely and then reboots, it tweaks your numbers for the rest of the day. Like it says 0 people in here. Like, look, here's the chatter count. 25,260 people in the chat right now, which means there's probably around 30K people watching, but with the lurkers and whatnot. But once the stream gets cut in and out, the numbers will be perma stuck.
Like Elon Musk, take the words efficiency, fraud, as if they are right-wing concerns.
I agree.
These are actually the concerns that should be at the heart of a progressive politics.
Yes.
Because I want to increase taxes on the top 1% by 2%. And I also want those same New Yorkers to be able to look at that increased revenue and say every single one of these dollars is being spent efficiently.
Yeah.
It can't be in and of itself the reason why you do it. It has to be what you deliver with that money.
I think like Doge was universally supported before it became what it was. But the idea...
Well, it was never actually intended to fulfill the intentions.
Got it.
But the intentions...
The intentions are right. I think most people... Let's eliminate
And
it.
I love that. Guys, generational triumph.
Does this mean you get less money at the end of the month? No, it doesn't. I don't. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you and entirely exclusively for you, the viewers. Okay? There's no ads on the Piker Broadcasting Service. The viewership numbers don't fucking matter. If you want to, at will, no obligations whatsoever, if you want to subscribe to support the show, to support the stream, you can. You can do that for free with the Twitch Prime. You can do that by gifting a sub if you want. I believe it was like 35% off earlier. I don't know if it still is. I don't know how that fucking starts and happens every now and then. But having said that, there's no obligation to subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to. I guess it's not 35% off for gifted subs. Sorry. It was a treasure train. It's random. Oh, got it. But yeah, the only revenue stream I have is this. The only revenue stream I have is my own paid subscribers who voluntarily subscribe, for the record. You don't get any like extra benefits. I guess the maximum benefit you get now, which is platform wide, is if you subscribe or you have a subscription, you can rewind the VOD. It's smart to have more than one stream on revenue. I mean, it's fine. I have subscriptions on here. I have YouTube, but that's not that much. Oh, you get emotes as well. You get emotes. Hasan makes trafficking Fent. Yes. That's how I make my money. I traffic Fent. Don't lie to us. It's true. Also, oh yeah, that's true. If you're a subscriber, you can also send me. Oh no. If you're a subscriber, you can also send me links. It's not a guarantee that I will click on them, but you can do it. You can send me those links if you want. And what else? And you got the emotes that you can use all around the platform. And you can clip shit. You can't clip shit if you're not a subscriber. Don't say that, dude. They'll kinetic strike your house. I welcome it. I welcome that. You click on them 95% of the time. It's true. Heavy on the not guaranteed speed of the stream can be insane. I do click on a lot of them. I click on far too many of them. All right, everybody stop sending me links right now.
My hand. I'll see you there.
So if rent is the most important issue, which I think we all agree, it's like fucking absurd. The rent freeze was like incredibly effective communication, right? This idea, because everybody else is talking about, we're going to build all these units. When you're drowning, you're not worried about like, you need a life vest. I get that 100%. I think that makes sense. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you can do that to like about 50% of the units in New York.
Yeah.
Because those are like,
apartments pretty much.
they're like the rent stabilized or rent controlled units.
About 2.5 million New Yorkers live in these kinds of apartments.
Got it.
Yeah.
How do you offer relief to the other 50%? And let me just clarify to people listening, like those other 50% aren't necessarily people who are wealthy.
They're just living in market rate units.
And people that work here, and they just didn't have the ability to get one of these, rent controlled units.
And so I'd first say there's rent control, which is a very small minority.
Yeah.
The vast majority of what we're talking about is rent stabilization. Rent stabilization means there's a limit on how much your rent can increase every year. It's not what your rent is, it's what the increase will be. And it's all determined by a board called the Rent Guidelines Board, composed of 9 people that the mayor appoints.
You can appoint them.
Yes.
But I think the appointing process might even take a little bit, right? It's not like day
2
one
years,
you do
right?
it.
It's each of these terms are on kind of a rotating basis.
Got it.
And there are a number of these terms that are open right now.
Got it. So you can point some, and there might be some people that are empathetic to your philosophies already. So
Because they actually did a study. That same board, under Eric Adams, did a study. It found that landlord profits had increased 12% of those units in the same year that the median household income of tenants of those units was $60,000. And with that information, they decided, let's hike the rent again. So it actually doesn't have to do with the data.
Got it.
But the point that you're making is right, which is that we have to have a housing policy for all 8.5 million people. That's why you couple a rent freeze with construction of 200,000 truly affordable homes. The reason I say truly is because, like, I represent Steinway in Astoria, right? I'll call a constituent, I'll say, there's a new affordable housing development coming up. Do you want to apply? They'll say, how much do I have to make? I say $140,000. They hang up the phone.
Yeah, affordable housing.
Because how
do you make it work? What is this? They posted this about you and then Anaphase fucking said, how could this be?
Pussy good, pussy sweet, pussy good enough to eat, pussy good.
Yo, I can't believe it, bro. Why the fuck am I letting my moms do layups here for dunks like this? What is happening? Can we get for real for a moment? What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? What's wrong with this goddamn stream? What's happening here, dude? I don't need haters. I got them all in here every fucking day, okay? My biggest haters.
Sweet, pussy good enough to eat. My pussy good, pussy sweet, pussy good.
Okay, that is a little. I do feel a little called out. Like I feel like this is disrespectful. Like down to the fucking wide shoulders, the length, the height, and the appropriate size head that looks kind of small because the shoulders are wide. Obviously, otherwise it's like a normal size head. Everyone is saying it in the chat. Everyone is saying in the chat how normal the size of the head is. It just looks like that because of the shoulder width. That's what it is. Fashion sense is better. Okay, dude. Okay, dude.
you're going to afford that, right?
Yeah.
And so my point is thinking about affordability more with the median household income in New York City, which is $70,000 for a family of 4.
I love it.
So you have to increase that, and you have to make it easier for the private sector to also build.
I agree with you 100%. Like, I think Ezra Klein put out a great book that I think that he's been like unfairly maligned by a lot of people on the left, but like where he's just going, hey, I appreciate democratic policies. I want to implement them. I think they're better for people, but there are certain things that we need to remove so that we can be competitive in an open market.
And I think that there's a truth to that where, look, I'm somebody who believes in the public sector. I believe in regulation.
Yeah.
I also believe that if I can't give you the reason for the regulation, then it has no reason to exist.
Yeah.
I cannot justify a restaurant giving the city every year $25 for the right to sell a frozen dessert. That doesn't make sense. Right? That is something that should be eliminated.
Yeah, okay.
I cannot justify someone who wants to open a barbershop filling out 24 forms, going to 7 agencies, and then attending 12 in-person events.
Yeah.
That does not make sense to me.
Right.
So I think that there is a truth to some of the regulations we've created have made it far more difficult to build housing.
Yeah.
And even the justifications we used back then are not the ones that have been borne out today. So we need to change those.
So how do we, first of all, I completely agree. And as like someone who has someone renovating above me, please believe I like the fact that there is regulation. Do you know what I mean? Like I have a kid who's 21 months old.
Yeah.
It's like they want to sleep, and if somebody's just going to be banging 21. This guy's
Oh God, Zoran, what the fuck, my boy? What are you? Oh no, brother, come on! You don't need to do all that. You don't need to do all that. That is such a fucking unk ass move, bro. That is unk station. All right. Speaking of which, crash dummies are here. Rich coming from you, brother, that is not something I would do. Okay. I don't code switch like that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do code switch, but like that's a whack ass code switch. What's good?